All right, we are good to go.
Okay, thank you. The January 12th, 2021 meeting of the Richmond Sanitary District Board of Commissioners is called to order. The first item of business is the election of the 2021 officers. Do we have a motion?
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Boxey?
Motion to approve Sue Miller as president of the Richmond Sanitary District Board of Commissioners for 2021.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve myself, Sue Miller, as president for the year 2021. Any other discussions or motions? Then I guess hearing none, we will go ahead and call the roll for that motion. Thank you.
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, thank you. I believe our other officers would be our vice president and recording secretary. Do I hear a motion for either one or both of those offices?
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steens?
I make a motion to nominate Amon Bakshi as vice president.
And I'll second that motion. Any further discussion on that motion? If not, Jess, will you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye,
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
thank you. And our recording secretary, I believe Denise has fulfilled that in the past. Would that be continuation, Denise?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to nominate Denise Johnson as our recording secretary for 2021. Do I hear a motion? Yes, Mr. Steens?
Nominate Denise Johnson as a recording secretary for 2021.
Aye, second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve Denise Johnson as recording secretary for the Board of Commissioners for the year 2021. Any further questions or comments, nominations? Jess, will you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye,
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
thank you. So I will continue then with the meeting. The next item of business is approval of minutes from the December 22nd, 2020.
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Boxey?
Motion to approve the minutes from December 22nd, 2020 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting on December 22nd of 2020 as presented. Any further questions or comments? If not, Jess, will you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
sorry, 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Aye. I'm getting an odd beeping. I don't know if it's here or at my end or your end. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got beeping going on in here, so I
Oh,
apologize.
okay. I'm here. You're beeping. All right. I believe, yes, the motion carried. The minutes of December 22nd, 2020 are approved as presented. The next item of business is approval of invoices from checks dates December 18th and 23rd and 31st of 2020.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steens.
make a motion to approve invoices for check date run December 18th, 23rd, 31st, 2020, totaling $578,677.27. We had some significant invoices. First from 2 payments to Harvest Lane Co-op of $21,085.90 and $18,944.09. A payment to Gardner Denver Nash for $33,115.57. McAllister Machinery for $339,850. Richmond Power and Light, $57,924.61. And 2 payments, I guess would be 2 separate accounts. for TCF National Bank. Both payments of $15,795.
A second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve invoices from check dates December 18th, 23rd, and 31st, 2020, totaling $578,677.27. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, Jeff, will you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. The director's report.
Yes, Madam President, Board, I have just a couple of things. One, back at the end of November, we stated we were kind of rolling back some of our COVID policies and working remotely a little bit more we're able. As far as rotation schedules for employees who can't work remotely, we kind of held off on that in December as a lot of people had a lot of time off still in the holidays. So we didn't, but now that we've rolled around to January, we've utilized that again in a few departments where we put rotation schedules back in. We should be able to meet all of our essential services. We believe at this point in time, and we'll keep evaluating that, but we just kind of wanted to let you know that we were back to using that some. I also wanted to state that the recycling market development grant that we applied for and we were awarded, we should see the bids coming in, or that process for that purchase of that truck coming in sometime, either the next board meeting this month or the first one in February. I'd anticipate seeing that come before the board, so I just kind of wanted to make that be aware. And lastly, a meeting or two ago, I stated that our blower 3 had returned. There's an update on that. There was an issue on startup and the blower was shipped back for inspection. A few minor issues were found. Jeff and I have a meeting later today to find out a timeline on these repairs. And that timeline will determine whether or not we have to bring in a rental unit back in or not. So if that comes up, you may be seeing that at the next board meeting. So that is all I have unless there are questions.
Right, I think on the blower, didn't we approve for a longer length of time than right now? You know, that would be needed. Seemed like we had pushed it out a ways, but maybe not, so.
Yeah, I think that we could have went another month or two when we sent it back. So I don't know if that would apply to this. We'll just have to look on. It would be using the same company. We reached out to several in case we needed to bring a rental back in, and only that company out of the 4 or 5 we talked to was going to be able to supply something readily. So it would be with that same company. So we'll just have to go back and look at the contract and see if it's still within that, if we have to put something else out. So,
But hopefully still not too long of a term to get the other up and running.
I hope so. I mean, with what they've looked at so far, I think it's just, it won't be out nearly the 5 or 6 months. I think we're looking at probably somewhere within a month. It's just anything more than 2 or 3 weeks is really pushing what we should go without a backup. So we may need to get something new just to be prudent and have something, but I don't think it'll near be the same time frame as before. It's much more minor repair than it was last time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions of Pat? The next item of business is the recommendation to enter into an agreement for legal services for the year 2021. I think we have, does anyone want to address this? Basically, this is our annual agreement that has been with Walt and the law firm. I'm not going to say it right because I noticed you all have a new name. Get down here to the end and I can tell you your name is now Boston, Beaver, Forest, Cross, and Sigmund. And as I understand it, is it for the same rate as last year?
I'm sorry?
Is it for the same rate as last year?
It is. It's exactly the same. So,
Okay. Any other questions or comments or a motion?
President Miller?
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to enter into agreement for legal services for 2021 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the agreement for legal services for the year 2021 as presented. Any further questions or comments? If not, Jess, will you call the roll?
Lamont,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve Resolution 1-2021, cost of service reimbursement for solid waste to landfill funds.
Yes, Madam President. The Richmond landfill collected 25,384.44 tons of trash from our own trash trucks for the year 2020. Code enforcement also collected 355.86 tons. The landfill charges our solid waste department and code enforcement the $29 per ton for this trash. The charge collected for solid waste is $736,148.76. Code enforcement charge is $10,319.94 for a total of $468.70. Resolution number 1/2021 reflects this reimbursement to the landfill from our solid waste department.
Thank you. Do we separately break this out in our budget? I was trying to sort of look through in our budget to see where the transfer happens. Is it just included in the fees for services?
I believe that we started splitting those out. I don't have the budget in front of me right now, but I think that we purposefully split those out so we could kind of watch it as it goes from year to year.
And I guess following up that same point, would there then be a line item specifically in code enforcement for their share?
For
the $10,319.94. I mean, it didn't really stand out to me when I look back at the budget. And this may be the first.
For leachate for code enforcement?
No, this is the trash trucks.
Oh, for the trash trucks? I don't recall us discussing that.
Okay.
That is something we could look at, but.
Okay. Yeah, we might want to think about that when we come up with the budget for this next year, because I think this may be, I'm not sure if this is the first year that we've allocated specifically to code enforcement.
This is not the first year that they've had their own section of the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
But the first for this, charging them for the landfill cost.
Yeah, I don't recall that being part of the discussion, but I do think that that makes sense, certainly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important, to evidence what code enforcement has done. And, I personally was surprised at the amount, of trash collected, 355 tons just by way of the code enforcement. And I assume that's in cases where there has been some form of violation or somebody has, there's some issues. Now, is part of that, has there been any demolition of homes that are included in that 355 tons?
I'd have to look, but there probably is some.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how Darren bills it all, but he does usually list what code enforcement brings as broken out, whether it's construction, demolition, or just solid waste that they picked up with like the lightning motor that they found that wasn't collected or wasn't properly put out.
I know there was some demolition last year, particularly related to like houses that had been damaged by fire.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, at the overall scheme of things, it does come out of the same pot, but I do think it does make sense to separate that out. And one thing that we had done, I think this is the second year that we had done it, is I believe leachate had been and the landfill had been kind of looped into one account, and we started separating that out. I do remember. So I think it makes sense to separate things just for tracking purposes and making sure things go where they need to go.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and I guess my other question is I don't know how many years we've been using the $29 per ton. And, you know, I guess, is that comparable to other, you know, other persons who use the landfill? And whether there should be any consideration as to whether the number should be changed.
I can say that engineering, so Elijah, myself, and some part of the pre-treatment program have been re-looking at a handful of our rates, particularly rates that weren't encompassed with the rate change. So some of these outlier rates like waste haulers, landfill rates, some of those weren't updated with our last set when we did the overall user fee for the sewer, and we're trying to bring all those into that same formula and cost effectiveness. So we have looked at those, and we do have meetings coming up soon to start discussing and laying a road ahead to align all of our rates together. So.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I have one question.
Okay. Mr.
Um,
Steve?
So I'm just curious, is it the same price per ton for regular trash versus demolition materials?
Construction and other trash, they're different rates a lot of times, but there are ordinances out there as well for demolition that I forget how old, it's quite a few years old, but I worked with EDC on this as well. Some of the demolition projects get different rates that was agreed upon to come there, so I'd have to really look back on that. So if construction is involved in this in 29, is that correct? Yeah, we have to look at that. And he may not have included construction in because of that. A lot of times that gets billed out to contractors. It just kind of depends on who picked it up, but we can verify that that's all solid waste.
That's it.
Did I hear somebody else with a comment? If there are no other comments, then I will entertain a motion.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steens?
make a motion to approve resolution 1-2021 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve resolution 1-2021 as presented. Any further questions or comments? If not, Jess, will you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. The next item of business is the recommendation to approve resolution 2-2021, cost of service resolution reimbursement for from landfill to sewer utility funds.
Yes, Madam President. Our Richmond landfill reports to IDEM how much leachate is pumped out of the landfill and into our sewer system that reaches our wastewater treatment plant. In the year 2020, amount of leachate reported IDEM leaving the landfill was 7,459,240 gallons. The treatment plant had a base rate of $2,315.20 a month for a 6-inch meter for our sewer ordinance, plus a fee of $5.25 per 1,000 gallons to treat it. The charge to the landfill for this treatment process is $66,943.41. Resolution number 2021 reflects this reimbursement to the sewer utility fund from the landfill fund.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on resolution 2-2021? If not, I will entertain a motion.
President Miller.
Yes, Mr. Bakshi?
Motion for recommendation to approve resolution 2-2021 for cost of services reimbursement from landfill to sewer utility fund as presented.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second to approve resolution 2-2021 cost of service reimbursement from landfill to sewer utility funds. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none. Jess, will you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. Under miscellaneous, we want to look back at the Pitney Bowes contract that was approved by this board at its last meeting. And we need to clarify that only 65% of the cost of that contract will be paid from the sanitary funds. The remainder will come from stormwater funds, which will be addressed at the next meeting. Any questions, comments on that issue?
Madam President, I think we probably should make a motion then to amend what we entered into, just.
Okay. Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to amend the contract previously entered into with Pitney Bowes to clarify that Richmond Sanitary District or the sanitary funds will be used for 65% of the contract.
President Miller,
Yes, Mr. Steens?
a motion to amend the payment amount of sanitary district will fund 65% of the monthly payment, and then stormwater funds would fund 35% of the payment for the billing machine and mail machine to the voters.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second to amend the contract with Pitney Bowes to specify that sanitary funds will be used for 65% of the contract for the mail machine, and the stormwater funds will be used for the balance of 35%. Any further questions or comments? If not, Jess, will you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. Is there any other business to be brought before the board today? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adjourn. Jeff, will you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Turn it over to Greg.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order the January 12th, 2021 Richmond Sanitary District Stormwater Management Board meeting. First on the agenda is the election of officers for 2021. I have a motion for president, please.
President Steens.
Yes.
Motion to approve President Steens as the 2021 Richmond Sanitary District Stormwater Management Board President.
And I will second the motion.
Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, Jess, could you call the roll?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. Next is the election of the vice president. Can I have a motion, please?
President Steens, I'll make a motion that to nominate Aman Bakshi as our vice president for 2021.
Do I second?
I'll second.
Oh,
Sorry. I'll second. Jess, could you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next is for the nomination of secretary. Do we have a nomination, please?
President Steens.
Yes.
Motion approved. It's still Denise Johnson. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so motion to approve Denise Johnson as the 2021 recording secretary for the Richmond Sanitary District Stormwater Management Board.
And I will second the motion.
A motion and a second to nominate Denise Johnson as secretary. Jess, could you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from December 8th, 2020.
President Steens.
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes from December 8th, 2020 as presented.
I will second the motion.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes from December 8th, 2020 meeting. Jess, could you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next on the agenda is the approval of invoices. Have a motion, please.
President Steens, I make a motion to approve invoices from check dates December 4th, 11th, 17th, 23rd, and 31st of 2020, totaling $20,850.57. The most significant invoice was to Milestone Contractors in an amount of $19,351.32.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve invoices for check date run December 4th, 11th, 17th, 23rd, and 31st of 2020, totaling $20,850.57. Jess, could you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Next on the agenda is the recommendation to enter a lease with Pitney Bowes for the billing and mailing machine.
Yes, Mr. President. Our recommendation is to enter into agreement with Pitney Bowes for the upgrade versions of our billing machine and mail machine. Denise Johnson, Diana Logan, Jason Combs, and myself reviewed the proposal from Pitney Bowes, and it's our recommendation to the board to award this to Pitney Bowes in the amount of $1,504.96 a month for 60 months. The stormwater funds will cover 35% of the $1,504.96. The rest will be covered by the sanitary district, the 65%. The cost of this is $526.73 a month for the 60-month stormwater.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, could I have a motion, please?
President Steens,
Yes.
recommendation to enter into lease with Pitney Bowes for billing and mailing services as presented, with stormwater being responsible for 35% of the cost.
Now second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to enter into agreement with Pitney Bowes for the billing machine and mail machine, where the stormwater funds will cover 35% of the monthly cost. Jess, could you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Is there any miscellaneous to be brought before the board? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. Jess, could you call the roll, please?
Amon,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
3 in favor, 0 opposed.
We're adjourned.